In this video, we're going to be doing a lot of importing. So I have a fair amount of new content, and what we're going to be doing is, well, in this video, is importing it and setting most of it up. Now, the content that we have is, granted I took the textures off, so I can't actually show you that, but for starters, we have a new weapon, STG44. That's set up, animated, and pretty much good to go, minus a reload animation. We now have a third person character to replace our mannequin that is also animated and currently has animations minus the reload animations for both the 1911 and the M1 carbine. We have textured the first person arms, so they're looking pretty nice. And essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting all of that up. So I've already imported everything, but I'm going to be stepping through kind of each and every bit so you can follow along and set it up with the same file/folder structure that I have currently. So in the description, you'll find a Google Drive link because my Dropbox is full to a download called assets. What you're going to do is you're just going to download it, extract it, and you'll find this assets folder. Open it up and you'll have 4 different ones inside. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up the first person arms. So I had to make a slight change because now we have previously there was only 2 materials, one for the hands and one for the arms, which was the skin, as well as the shirt combined, which I wanted to separate, as well as the gloves. So now we have 3 materials for that, so they're all 3 separate. So what we're going to do to import it, we're going to go to character, FPS, arms, and what we're going to simply do is right click on our FPS arms, go to re-import with new file. Going to find that, so we go to assets, FPS arms, and press open. Whenever you do this, it's going to ask you to probably make a subtle change. I'm not entirely sure what it would do, but when you open it up, you should have 3 slots for materials. So let's go ahead and set those up. So in your arms folder, right click, create a new folder, and call it textures. Now inside of textures, I'm just gonna delete, screw it. Yeah, delete the material. You're going to open up your FPS arms folder, go to textures, you're going to click and drag all of them in. And it's going to take a while, but once it's imported, we're going to go ahead and create a quick little master material. So we're going to right click, materials and textures, material, and I'm going to call this an m_fps_arms. Now let's open this up. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag out 3 of the textures and we're going to convert them to parameters. So I'm going to take the skin. So I have this base color for the arms, the normal map, and the occlusion, roughness, and metallic. So I just take those, click and drag them onto the blueprint grid. And I'm going to go ahead and separate them out a bit, like so. And just get it fairly decent. So we take this first one, which is the base color, drag the RGB to base color. Second one's the normal map, drag the RGB to normal. And the third one is occlusion, roughness, and metallic. So first one's occlusion, so we take our red channel, go to ambient occlusion. Second one's roughness, so that's our green, drag that to roughness. And the third one is the blue channel, we drag that to metallic. So occlusion, roughness, and metallic. Now let's convert these to parameters. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to right click, convert to parameter. And same thing for the rest of them. So on the first one, let's call it base color. Second one, call it normal. And third one, let's call it OCCL, rough, metal. So occlusion, roughness, and metallic. Then we're going to go ahead and hit save. And it should, I think when you hit save, it applies it too. Yep. And now we have our master material. So we're going to right click on the material, create a material instance, and let's give it a name. I'm going to call it mi_fps_arms. Then I'm going to Control W to duplicate and change arms to gloves. I'm going to do it one more time, duplicate it again, and change the last one to shirt, I guess is a name. And now we can go ahead and set these up. So let's open up the gloves. You can see we have three parameters: base color, normal, and our occlusion related stuff. So let's check all three of these. And we're going to change this. So this is the gloves. So if you imported the textures, you should have, actually let's change this, change the shirt, change that so it says clothes. I think that says cloths. I completely spelled that wrong. Screw it, it doesn't matter. So you should have three for the gloves. So the base color right here, the normal, and the occlusion. So let's just click the drop down box and search for gloves. Then we'll select the base color, link to the base color, same thing for normal, and same thing for the occlusion, roughness, and metallic. Then hit save. Now we'll do the same thing for the clothes. So let's open that up, check all three boxes, and search for clothes or cloths. Do it for base color, normal, and the occlusion, and save it again. So now once that's done, we can go back to our arms here, open up our FPS arms, set the first material. That's going to be our arms. So it's going to be mi_FPS arms. And we should see it load the skin for the fingers here in a second. The next one, I think, is the, maybe it's the shirt. So we're going to search for clothes. So material instance FPS clothes. Nope, that would be the gloves. So let's search for gloves. And the last one, let's search for clothes and hit save. And here we have, yeah, there's a little bit of clipping, but here we have our FPS arms. And I think they look pretty nice. The skin definitely needs to be less shinier though, but that's not too big of a concern. I made stitching. All right, so now have our first person arms now set up. So we should be pretty much good to go. I would just confirm that all of your, all of the animations that you have for it are functional. This one's idle to ADS. We're not even making use of that, but make sure they're all still are working as intended. So now that we have that, let's import the third person character. So go to character, you're going to right click, create a new folder and call it TP for third person. Open that up, create another one called TP again, open that up. We're going to import our character. So I'm going to go ahead and actually get rid of our animation blueprint and blend space, just so, because we're going to be remaking them. I'll just show you as I remake it because we're going to be separating the upper and the lower body for the animations. And hopefully it didn't take too long. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our assets folder, the root of it, go to third person, and we have our third person character. What we're going to do is we're just going to click and drag that in. All right. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and drag in the animations. So actually, that's what I forgot to include in here. I forgot to include the animations. So I should actually have them. Wait, no. Characters, third person animations. Okay, so let me just copy and paste those in. So you also have these two for animations. So you would just click and drag both of those in. And it would import these like so. Just make sure you select the third person character skeleton. And then we can do the materials. So open up materials. And assuming it hasn't already actually imported the textures and stuff automatically, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, click, drag, and drop those right in. And then from there, it's just a matter of matching them up. So for example, we have this material for the suit, and all it is, I haven't actually even touched it. So when you import the third person character, it may do this automatically. If it does, perfect. All it has is a base color and a normal map. So you just link the base color to base color and the normal map to normal. Didn't even make any changes. Same thing for the eyes, and same thing for the skin, except the skin's just a base color. What are the eyes? Yeah, the eyes are just simply a base color as well. So that's all you do for that. It's very simple. So then we should have our third person character pretty much set up. And if need be, also don't forget to do your shoes as well. The shoes are just a base color, it says. And automatically, honestly, I believe it should create the materials for you, assuming you imported it and made sure it was set to create materials. And it should do everything automatically. But you should have a guy looking like this with pretty much dead eyes, as that is a little messed up. So now we have our third person imported. What we're going to do now is go back one to our directory, and we'll have animations we're going to have go back to where we have okay, go to character, go to TP, right click, create a new folder, and name it animations. In that folder, create a new folder called 1911. And now inside of here, I'm going to go ahead and remove this animation montage. I'm going to remove the M1 carbine one as well. And we're going to drag in the animations. So back in our assets, let's go all the way to the back, go to 1911, third person. We'll have these four animations, just drag and drop them right in and import. Make sure you select the third person character skeleton. Then we're going to go back, create a new folder called M1 Carbine. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to head to the M1 Carbine folder, third person, drag and drop all the animations right in there. And then we should be good to go with our third person character. Now, up next, let's go ahead and do our new weapon. So go down here to weapons, create a new folder, call it STG44. Open that up. I'm going to go ahead and delete the blueprint. Go to our assets folder, STG44, and we're going to grab STG44, drag and drop it in, and import it. Ignore this old folder, which I can actually delete. So you'll have these three files here. Next, right click, create a new folder, call it animations, open that up. We're going to drag the animation or STG44 underscore fire right into there like so. Now we need to do our textures, which I actually have to do as well because I deleted it. So we're going to right click, create a new material. So materials and textures, material. I'm going to call this one M underscore STG44. Now I'm going to go ahead and right click, create a new folder, call it textures. Drag and drop that material in there, open up that folder, go back to our assets, go to textures, and drag the three Targa images right in there. Next up, let's go ahead and open the material. And we're going to drag and drop these three images that we just imported right on in. So here's the base, here's that, and the normal. So we'll have the base color first, drag that to base color, the normal, drag the RGB to normal. Then we have the same thing, occlusion, roughness, and metallic. So we're going to go red to occlusion, green to roughness, and blue to metallic. Then we simply hit save. And once this is done, we can go ahead and apply this material to our weapons. So let's open up the STG44, search for the material that we just made, and now we have to just wait for it to catch up to itself. And there we go. So the stock is very ugly, I know, but I did not model this gun. All I did was texture it and rig it up. So we now have our STG imported. Now I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Pretty sure that's all. Let me get rid of that. And we should be good to go. Yeah, I think we're pretty much good to go. So now that we have everything imported, let's see how long is this going. 15 minutes. Okay. We're going to go ahead and set up the animation montages for the Sturmgewehr real quick. Ah, that's what I didn't do. Almost forgot. We gotta import the animations for the arms. So we're gonna go to Character, FPS, Animations, and we're gonna simply right-click, create a new folder, call it STG44. Open that up. Let me delete this montage as well. And we're gonna open up our arm animations under STG44 folder and drag all four of these right on in, and make sure you select the FPS arms as the skeleton. Now we can go ahead and do very quickly, just set up the animation montage for this. And to do that, we're just simply gonna go to the M1 carbine folder, find our animation montage for the carbine, Control W to duplicate, and click and drag it into our STG44 folder and hit move here. So let's rename it. So FPS arms underscore or AM underscore arms underscore STG44. Open that on up. Zoom in a bit. There. I'm going to delete this reload. Delete that reload as well because we do not have them just yet. And I'm going to, this ADS or this hip fire for the M1 carbine, delete that. We're going to add the hip fire for the STG44. Then we're going to click on the ADS fire for the M1 carbine, delete that, and select the ADS fire for the STG44. Then we're just going to simply take the ADS fire, move it all the way to the left, so it's like so. Then we just drag our hip fire to meet right at the start of our hip fire. And there we have our animations for the STG. Go ahead and save it. And now I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here because we have pretty much everything imported and just about good to go. In the next video, I'm going to show you how we can start setting up the actual third-person animations. So setting them up like this guy, I'm just going to revert this back to the mannequin. And we will, yeah, just set everything up that way. Create the animation montages for the firing and all that kind of stuff. So if you have any questions or struggled with this, feel free to join my Discord if you're not already in it, and I will help you the best I can with importing all this. So I will see you in the next one.